surprise you with?
Hello, we are live today at the Burton Public Library. I am Dr. G, and I am my friend. Hello, everybody. With me today. I'm so happy to be here. Okay, today we are reading, as promised, Not Quite Snow White. And I had challenged you last time to think about what might be the problem and why it's not quite Snow White. Now, I will tell you that this book does make you think about race and how people treat each other. The book is written by Ashley Franklin, and let's get started. Oh, by the way, this is a Vox book, so it can be read to you if you go to the library and pick it up. But here we go. Look at that lovely pink room. For Tamika, it was always the right time and place to dance and sing. Tamika had a hip rolling happy dance. I'll show you this. She's got a hip rolling happy dance. A swayful sad dance, a stomping mad dance, and a hair flinging just because she felt fabulous dance. Now look at that. Love it. She sang high with the tweeting birds and low with the croaking frogs. She always shared her love of music and movement with an audience, stuffed and unstuffed. So here she is, and in this case, her audience is the stuffed animals. Tamika loved the stage. It was her perfect place. It was her perfect place. She was the star of every show, and she loved every show that she starred in. Look at her. I'm telling you, she is one happy person. Can you see that? She had been a cucumber, a space cowgirl, a dinosaur, and her favorite part, a singing mermaid. What would you like to be if you were in a show? Have you made your own shows? I tend to think, what would I like to be? I don't know. I have to think about that. On stage, Tamika felt like she could be anything or anyone she wanted to be, but she had never been a princess. Now she would finally have her chance, and look why. Snow White the musical. Oh, I bet she's super excited. Look on over here. Look at her. She's in line. Okay, let's see what's happening. Tamika was so excited that she went to both days of auditions for the Snow White musical. On the first day, she arrived super early. She helped friends with their lines, kept count for the dancers, and shooed butterflies from nervous tummies so songs could be sung. Boy, she wants to be in the show and she's helping others because they want to be in the show too. Look at her. She's so helpful. Tells you what kind of person she is that she's willing to help. Really decent person. After the audition, Tamika heard some of the other kids whispering. She can't be Snow White. She's too tall. She's much too chubby. And look over here. Some of the boys are in on it. And she's too brown, it says. Snow White. And she's too brown. I don't get it. Tamika looked at her legs. They were long. Maybe the kids were right. A princess shouldn't be taller than her prince. Should she? She looked at her belly. Maybe what the kids said was true. She could not remember any chubby princesses. Tamika looked at her skin. She was brown. How could a girl with brown skin play a princess like Snow White? And look at what this self-talk is doing to her. She's self-talking and she is seeing here how long her legs are. And she's kind of not liking herself for having long legs. And she's kind of getting down on herself because her belly's a little chubby. And then look at how sad her face is when she realizes that she's brown and she wants to play Snow White. Could those kids be wrong? Maybe she was wrong for wanting to be the princess. And look at how forlorn she looks. Forlorn means so sad. And look here on this page. Still very, very sad. Tamika slouched and sucked in her belly. She tried pulling down her sleeves, but there was no getting around being brown. For the first time, she didn't feel like dancing or singing. So due to the self-talk of allowing other people to sort of get into your mind and you believing what they say, it's changed her whole attitude. It's kind of really sad. Shouldn't let other people change who you are. At dinner, Tamika didn't tap her feet or clang rhythms with her spoon. Is something wrong? Asked her mom. The other kids said, I'm too tall, too chubby, and too brown. I'm not right for Snow White, said Tamika. See how upset she is? And her parents are seeing that. And she's sitting on her mom's lap saying to her mom, hey, the other kids are telling me I'm not good enough. People, you cannot let other people tell you that you're not good enough. You are always good enough, and you can always be and do anything you want to do. Set your mind to it and go for it. Let's read the rest of the story. Her mom says, you've got it all wrong. You are tall enough, chubby enough, and brown enough to be a perfect princess. I love her mom's answer. Parents are usually there for their children, boosting them up and making them understand that, hey, you can do what you want to do. You're perfect just the way you are. And now look at what her dad's doing. Besides, said her dad, Snow White is just pretend. You've always been my real princess. You're just enough of all the right stuff. He kissed her forehead. Tamika smiled. Maybe her parents were onto something. And I would say so. We are all just enough of all the right stuff. Something to be remembered. At the audition the next day, Tamika watched all the other kids get on stage and do their best. Look at this. And isn't that what she wanted? And wouldn't you would want everybody to do their best. And you would do your best. Hopefully your best is just a little bit better. Oh, I like that so much. Ooh. It was Tamika's turn at last. She remembered what her parents had said, but her long legs were still a little jittery. She closed her eyes and imagined she was singing and dancing for her favorite audience of friends, stuffed and unstuffed. Then she remembered the joy she felt when performing. Tamika knew she could do it. Boy, isn't that a terrific feeling when you just know you've got this? Look at that. Look at that. She's got it. Look at her go. Look at her go. She is nailing that audition. Okay. And she did. She shone like the star she was. She could act. She could dance. She could sing. She loved herself as much as she loved music and movement. Tamika was a perfectly poised princess. When her audition was over, Tamika looked out to smiling faces. Tamika wasn't too much of anything. Look at her. Look at everybody loving her. Yeah. Maybe she was just enough of all the right stuff. And look at her. She was Snow White in the presentation because she earned her way on there. Now, that's the end of our story. Now, this story, like I said, gets us thinking about how people can say mean things to other people, especially about race. And it makes them feel bad or start questioning themselves. But don't let that happen. And certainly don't do it to other people. They don't deserve it. We are all just enough of all the right stuff. Now, this book happens to be banned because it does show how people are mean to one another. And it was banned for the ideas of racism that's in the book. You should take a little bit of time maybe and discuss a couple ways that people of color, especially African Americans, were portrayed negatively in this story. And discuss how that is definitely wrong. And you can also maybe do a Venn diagram, and you can talk about how in the old days people were treating African Americans, especially African American children. And you can compare that to how African American children are portrayed today in stories and movies, and then talk about how they're different, and then also maybe talk about how things are the same. But hopefully, with the guidance of some adults, you will be able to see that in America in particular, we have had quite a long history of portraying African American children in a very negative way. And it does still happen today. There have been some strides made to not be so derogatory toward African Americans in general and African American children, but we still have quite a long way to go. And I would challenge all of you to really go ahead and start thinking about these things, because it leads us to think about the way we want to treat others and how we want to be known. Do you want to be known as a promoter of goodness? Or do you want to be known as somebody who makes others feel cruddy and is not accepting of others? So there's a lot to be discussed in this very little thin book. Lots of very good learning to go on here. Again, the story is Not Quite Snow White, written by Ashley Franklin. It's a phenomenal book, really gets you thinking. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Think hard, do the right thing, treat others nicely. All right, everybody. Bye. Have a great day.